COVID-19 recovery, helping Hoosiers recover financially, physically, mentally, and socially through services provided by Community Action of Greater Indianapolis. Services include energy assistance, child care, family support, education, training programs, and food assistance. COVID-19 recovery.
Hi, I'm Kelly Vaughn, and welcome to COVID-19 Recovery, where we help you to overcome the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. And I'm joined by
Al Bracken with CAGI.
And Corey Johnson with Misfit Fitness.
All right, and man, we're here. We're glad you're here today, Corey, because
Thank you for having me.
Folks have been really going through it with this COVID-19 pandemic. I don't know about, have you gained any weight at all, Al?
Don't ask me any questions like that. Maybe a pound or two.
That's
Okay.
all?
Okay.
That's all I'm going to admit to.
Okay.
Okay.
But there's weight gain, there's been some depression. We've all kind of been through different things on different levels. Isolation, I know for me, I've felt very isolated especially the first 3 or 4 months when the pandemic hit. Of course, people have been losing family members. So there's been the psychological impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, and of course, the physical impact. And so we are so glad to have you here. And I'll let him do the honors of introducing you, Corey.
I'll be more than happy to. When CAGI first started working with different grassroots organizations in the community, we started out with the buildings. CAGI owns several retirement senior citizen buildings in Indianapolis. And a couple of our buildings, we had several individuals, several of our family members in those buildings that had passed away from COVID. And all community activities had stopped, et cetera, just like in the general population. When things opened back up and we started doing healthy checks and started taking advice from the individuals in the buildings, one of the requests that we got over and over was to have physical activity, a personal trainer. So we did research and we wanted to make sure we had the right personal trainer for our geriatric population. And the organization, Ms. Fitz, and I may have pronounced that wrong, I'll give Corey an opportunity to correct me on that. But Corey Johnson, who is also an RN, came highly recommended to CAGI. So having said that, I want to introduce Corey because she's currently in our buildings doing personal training with our geriatric population. We wanted to bring her on the show to talk about the advantages of being an RN, being a personal trainer. So Corey, can you start out by telling us a little bit more about your background and who you are and why you do what you do?
Okay. Again, I am Corey Johnson. I own and operate Misfit Fitness and Zumba Studio. I have been a registered nurse I've been a nurse for 17 years, mainly working with the geriatric population. I worked in and out of long-term care for a very long period of time. I became more focused on my health and fitness, I would say maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, and kind of drew into my own personal goals. And as I reached those and got closer to those goals, I became more driven to want to help other people in a different way. Keeping that nursing background in mind, I put it together with personal training. I got my certification. It's been 2 years now.
Wow. Well, see, that's the reason why we were interested in Corey, because of that background. And I'm going to go remedial here, and I'm going to ask a question that I know there's other individuals want to know this, but I'm going to be the one brave enough to ask.
Okay.
What is Zumba?
No, you didn't.
And don't hold back.
It's a cardio fitness class. It's basically Latino movements, salsa, merengue, reggaeton movements. You're moving to beats. It could be 135 an hour on up to 160, 165, 170 beats an hour, but it's cardio. And you get in there. I call all of my Zumba classes cardio parties because we turn the music up and we just really dance. You don't come in knowing the dance. You don't come in knowing what we're gonna do, but you just jump in and you have a ball and burn a lot of calories.
So you're doing Zumba with what you just explained with our geriatric population?
No, but what we did, just the last visit that I had with the geriatric population was I asked them, I said, are you guys into Zumba? You know, because what we were doing was just some basic chair exercise and chair fitness.
And they said, like him, what's Zumba?
And, well, they said no. They told me flat out. Yeah. They said, absolutely not, we're not. So I kind of turned on the music, the Zumba, the music that I use for Zumba, and we just kind of did some fitness moves, some variations, and we started doing them to the beat. And before they knew it, they were doing Zumba, and they were sweating, and they were having a ball, and they wanted to keep going. So, in a way, yeah, I do kind of incorporate that.
Okay.
So, but when you say geriatric population, what's the range we're talking about? Because I'm thinking I'm in that group, so
well,
I'm not sure
already there,
what you're
so.
talking about. So
geriatrics are you're gonna be 60 and over.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. So that's when it's not an offensive thing at all. Actually, that's the point in your life when you need to continue, if you're not already, incorporating more physical activity, into your daily.
I was thinking 70 and over.
Well, it's just, what did we say, 65? Oh, that's just 10 years.
That's average. Let's go.
Okay.
We can settle on 65.
Okay, right in between.
See, and now, if you consider your senior discounts start at 55, that could be 55.
Absolutely.
So,
well, when I go to the Goodwill,
beneficial.
I'm geriatric senior every day because their discount starts at 50.
who, Goodwill?
Goodwill.
See, so I'm close.
30% on Wednesday.
So I'm close.
Okay, all right.
I'm close, then.
Yeah, we're
far
going
off.
to see because later on we're going to do a demo.
Okay.
And on some of the things that Corey is doing.
Okay.
Corey, tell us a little bit about how important it is, and later on in life, and you just talked about it, and with your experience as an RN, how important is it for all of us, no matter how old we are, to move and stay active?
Okay. Just starting out young. Our children are involved in sports. They have physical education in the schools. As we get older into our teens and adolescents, we continue into those sports and those type of things. It's important because if you're not moving, if you lose it, if you don't, what do they say? If you don't use it, you lose it. If you don't use it, you lose it. And so you want to continue to have those body parts and those joints and all those muscles and things like that still continue to have the mobility, to maximize that mobility.
Independence.
Independently, absolutely. For the rest of your life, however long that may be. Yeah. So
You mentioned something earlier, and you said start young. And I used to do radio for many years, and I used to say on the air all the time that the mistake that we make in terms of fitness is that we don't train our children to exercise. Like, we make them get up and go to school.
Absolutely.
We make them get up and go to bed. But why not tell your kids, okay, before you got to make your bed before you go, but I need you to give me 10 push-ups,
Absolutely.
10 sit-ups, and 10 jumping jacks. And that's all. Because it establishes the habit, not necessarily that they're going to be, Jack LaLanne, I'm really telling you.
Discipline.
Or Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Or The Rock.
It becomes a routine.
Right. It's establishing the routine, but our parents didn't do that. And then what's interesting for women, especially when you get into your 19, 20 years old, and then all of a sudden, there's this pressure, you got to look a certain way, and your body's got to be a certain way due to the male population's demand, but they told you when you were younger that you shouldn't work out.
Absolutely.
Because I come up at a time when girls, you couldn't even play basketball.
Yeah, you just didn't.
So why is suddenly the light's supposed to go on at 20 or 22 that now I'm going to start exercising when I was discouraged from doing that as a kid?
I think because now we're realizing how important it is to be physically active and to combat diagnoses, new diagnoses, for example, high blood pressure, diabetes and those type of things. When we're taking control of our eating habits and our physical activity and those types of things early on, it's a preventative, as opposed to when we're starting, midlife and we're saying, oh gosh, there's a problem. Oh, I realize I just come from my well check and it wasn't so well. My blood pressure's through the roof, and now I've got to figure out how to get this workout routine into my lifestyle, and how I'm gonna figure out how I can change what I'm eating and those things. Where, like you said, if we're starting now and we're incorporating those things into our children's lives daily, early on, it becomes a routine.
I needed to learn to not to eat sugar at
Absolutely.
4, not
Absolutely.
at 44.
And teaching them what types of problems come along with
Exactly.
overindulging in those types of foods. And so it's okay, here or there to, taste something or have a little bit, but when you're, overindulging, it becomes a problem.
I believe it starts in the womb. My mother was a huge sugar fan, and even till the day she died, she's just eating sugar. And I thought, okay, she didn't just start this.
Yeah.
She was doing this when she was carrying me. So I call myself, and I've had to fight this whole sugar thing. It's like a sugar addiction. I call myself have a crack baby. Mm-hmm. I think I was a sugar baby.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Sugar baby,
my mother, and I don't know how much truth there is to it, but my mother drank a lot of Pepsi while she was pregnant, while I was in womb, and
you like Pepsis?
it was my downfall for 10 years.
Now,
That's
see?
what I did.
People don't think
Pepsi.
about that, but if
Pepsi,
it happens with drugs, why wouldn't it happen with food? And when you think about sugar, they say the chemical makeup of sugar is very close to cocaine.
I'll tell you
I'm
how
not a chemist,
quickly. I'll tell you how quickly, not to cut you off, but how quickly, within a 2.5 week period of time, I was a very avid Pepsi. It was just like, if this one was warm, I had to get another one. And so when I realized how much damage it was causing to my body, I cut back, and in 2.5 weeks, I lost 13 pounds. It really
just
packs.
cutting back on Pepsi.
Just letting the Pepsi go.
Diet. Well,
Yep.
Don't drink
Just
any
letting
more.
it go. 13
So
pounds.
if Kelly cuts back on Hennessy, how much
There's
weight do you think?
we're probably running neck and neck with this sugar. The way the body breaks
Yeah,
alcohol
because
down.
alcohol is sugar.
Absolutely.
And I do not drink Hennessy.
Right,
by the way.
Well, Martell.
I drink Castile vodka. No, I'm
Oh,
kidding.
okay.
No, I don't. I don't drink hard. I drink. I'll probably shouldn't drink that. You can't drink anything. I can't drink milk even. What about dairy products?
For dairy, I would honestly say I haven't always been I haven't been into dairy. I don't really do a lot of cheeses and different things like that. But recently, I am into Parmesan cheese. It's got a flavor for me because I don't use salt. So it's giving me a little bit of a to my food. And I've gone to almond milk.
I'm trying to get there, but
It's different. It's different.
It lacks
It's acquired,
thickness.
definitely. But when you think about the benefits of it and what you go through when you're drinking the regular milk, not to say that it, or whatever, but there's a lot more benefit over here, not just because you're changing, but there's benefit in drinking that. So making that change. So.
Can I ask this? Because you're talking about all the benefits of exercise, and we all know that, but why is that? Because we all know somebody who doesn't do that, and they're in great shape. They don't necessarily have all these
They look
ailments.
like
Well,
like
I
they're
know,
in great
but there
shape.
are some times that they are just like, I don't know. But why is that? Because that's my mental block is, but why should I have to do this to survive? I can see where you don't go overboard, you do the bare minimum, but it's like, I really feel like for me, if I don't exercise, I'm in bad shape. I can feel it.
There's happy hormones and things that are released when you exercise. So that's the first thing. So when you go in and you're feeling blah, when you pull up and you're in the parking lot and you're like, I gotta go into this gym. Yeah, you go into that gym and then you leave out and you feel euphoric, you feel stronger, you feel more confident, you feel better. That's what happens. In addition to that, physically, we think that just being stationary, we look good, we're slim or whatever,
Vanity.
whatever that
Kicks in,
is. But on the inside, your heart functions and does many things. Okay, so circulation-wise, when we're not putting additional, work on that heart. When we get up to move and we finally make that move, we're fatigued because our heart is a muscle and we have just not exercised it enough. Okay, and so you've got to have that for circulation purposes, and with circulation comes the skin and all those things. So you have to, and like I said, when you start working out, endorphins are released, your pancreas starts to work, and your blood sugars and things start coming down, and you start to lose weight, and your metabolism, everything starts to recognize that change. Physical, has to be physical.
When she said circulate, though, I've often thought that to say it, even psychologically. I don't want to think of it as, I got to go exercise today, I got to go circulate today. Because some reason it doesn't seem like it's such a big a burden, and it tells me why I'm doing it, because exercise doesn't tell me why I'm doing it.
Mobility is everything. Mobility and maintaining the mobility. Even those people that, like when I work in the long-term care centers, and those people that aren't able to move, we still go in and do passive range of motion on those people. We move them, and we move their legs for them, and so it prevents, pressure sores, and it prevents all kinds of things. And so you have to get up and move and allow your blood to circulate.
And I know I keep interjecting here.
No, I mean, this is all part of it.
To give you an example of the extreme opposite of that, my father suffered a heart attack at the age of 57. This is back in the 90s, and he basically became a vegetable. Because a lot of people think you're either going to live or die. There is that
Especially
Nancy
at that time.
Cruzan middle ground there. And, because he had no willful movements, or he would just lie there in the nursing home. And so we had to constantly exercise his body, even though, and he eventually passed away, but he had so much brain damage, it was severe. But you can see the effects of just being lying there. And there were the bed sores, and then we got the air bed, but we had to, every day you come back, the fingers would just draw up, and you'd have to
contract it.
Do it, get them loose again,
and you move
and they go
them.
right back, because there's no, so even we take for granted how important just going to the bathroom is.
There's fluid in those joints. There's fluid and stuff in there, and you imagine something just sitting there and not having, not moving. It doesn't have the pump. It doesn't have the drive. It can't be forced. It can't move around. It doesn't allow it to function.
I'll tell you what, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back, and Corey is going to demonstrate some of these moves that have made her famous on the east side of Indianapolis. Okay, so we'll be right back. Thank you.
During the COVID-19 emergency, community action agencies are open and here to ensure the well-being of families across the country. For over 50 years, we've been delivering life-changing services, solutions, and stability.
Contact your local community action agency serving Boone, Hamilton, Hendricks, and Marion counties for help during the COVID-19 emergency. We can assist with masks, hand sanitizers, food, shelter, transportation, and more. Apply today.
And we're back here on COVID-19 recovery. And what we're trying to do is to help you to recover by getting in shape, because a lot of us have gained a few pounds, a little bit of depression, a little bit too much ice cream, right? And here to help us do that, again, is Corey Johnson. She's a registered nurse, but she's also a Zumba instructor. And you've got some moves for us to kind of get us back to where we were. What you got for us, Corey?
Yes, just getting back into the swing of things, I just want to throw out a couple of exercises that you can do at home with or without equipment, just in your front room or wherever you may be able to set up. But getting yourself moving this is a great way to start it out. One of the exercises I like to do is just a simple jumping jack. And you're just taking the legs and arms out. While the arms are out, the legs are going out. And I typically will do this about 3 times for 30 to 45 seconds. Some people may have knee issues or other issues where they're not comfortable with jumping or, you know, having that vigorous impact on the ground. You can always just take it a step here, speed that up, okay?
That would be me. Let me try.
Out like that. Very good. Same thing. That's going to definitely get your heart rate up.
And how many then? And you said how many sets?
Like I said, you do, you know, anywhere between 30 to 45 seconds, and you want to do it 2 to 3 times.
Okay.
So
and
the
in between,
second one is the one you use with the seniors?
yes,
They can't
yes,
get in the air?
And majority of them were all in, and had a couple of people that were in wheelchairs, and they just moved their upper body or the one leg that, you know, was active or, you know, that they could use, and so it works that way too.
Because I have like a torn meniscus. Otherwise, I try to do that with you.
Yes, and so for
this
injuries
is
like
better,
that,
right?
absolutely.
Okay. Beats not
Always
doing
an
anything.
alternative.
Right.
Yes, yes, it beats just sitting still. Another one that I have that works the core, we're always, you know, concerned about our midsections and our waist.
Al doesn't have that problem. Go ahead.
Oh,
Al
is
are you
he
talking
doing
about?
is he
Al
doing
Bracken,
this
that's what I'm
exercise?
That's right. Yeah, I'm doing this.
I call this is a knee, a side knee raise, and you basically just lift that knee. You're gonna bring that knee to the elbow, okay?
Can we see Al do that? Go
No,
ahead.
you can't see me do
Oh,
it.
is he?
The jacket's too tight.
Okay.
I can't
You want
do
to take it off?
No, I don't.
Okay, okay. So you typically, I'm going to advise you to do 15 to 20 of these on each side, okay? Again, for three rounds.
So that's for your core?
That's for your core. It's for
Really?
your obliques, yes.
It
It's
looks
for
like
your
it'd be
core.
more for your legs. You know?
You can bring those to the front as well and work the lower ab, what we call the fupa.
Okay.
Okay, and bring those up
Call
to
it
the chest.
the what? The fupa.
The fupa.
Okay, I don't think I've heard that.
Okay.
Before.
All right.
Go
We'll work
ahead.
on that.
I'm sorry.
So those are 2 exercises. You may alternate those 2 exercises. Your heart rate's gonna be up, it's gonna be kicking, it's gonna be pumping.
Okay.
Another one that focuses is a full body, but focuses on the core and core strength, which is very, very important because that's gonna help with your stability and different things like that when you're making sudden movements and stuff. So you build the core, you build the back, and you just simply get stronger. So you come down here, get down the best way that you can. You're gonna keep your hands directly underneath your chest.
She just did that
And
with
you're
such
gonna-
ease.
Oh,
You're gonna hold this here, okay, for 30 to 45 seconds.
And she's talking while
Okay?
she does it.
You can add different variations to that. You can punch out. You can punch to the side. You can tap your chest, okay? So you're gonna do 3 rounds of those. Typically walk yourself back up. You can roll yourself up, get up however you need to get up, have a chair near you. You can also do these movements up against a wall. Same thing, just holding yourself there for 30 to 45 seconds.
Okay, so leaning into the wall as if it were the floor.
As if it were the floor.
Gotcha.
Elevated, incline, okay?
Okay.
Another area we like to focus on is lower body. Leg day is my favorite day, but we focus on lower body. A common exercise is the squat, okay? Just a regular squat. Depending on how your knees tolerate is how low you're gonna go. But as you're incorporating this exercise, you're focusing more on opening up your hip flexors. The more that those are opened up and stretched out, the lower you feel, the lower you can go in that squat, and the more comfortable you're gonna feel. So a squat is basically here. I describe it as if someone's taking a pop can and just stepping down on that pop can and just smashing it down, and you bring the body down and you squat, paying special attention, okay, to these toes. We're not doing this. Woo. Okay, Al?
gotcha.
We're not doing that because the toes are extended past, or the knees are extended past the toes. We want to be here, 90 degrees, drop the glute back, come up, okay, and get as low as you can go.
Wow, okay.
15 of those.
I used to be able to do that. I told, off the air, I told Al, I used
Yeah.
to squat 320
Yeah.
pounds at Bally's. You know, the guys would work in and
Yeah.
they thought that because I did it, they could do it. And then they go, wait a minute, because they
Okay.
thought as a female I
Absolutely.
could do it. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Go over just because we're going to be running out of time.
Okay.
A couple of the exercises that you like if somebody's in a wheelchair.
Okay.
what would you do? Do you need that chair?
Sure. If you're sitting in a chair, there's plenty of things that you can do to stay mobile. If you're unable to get out of a chair, you can lift that knee, the same exercise we were doing as we were standing. Anytime you add the arms above the head or hold them above the heart, you're going to increase that heart rate. You can kick the leg out, okay? You can kick the leg there. You can also do side bends in your chair. Sitting, side. You can go forward, okay? You can also do what's called a mountain climber, bringing those knees in. This is a modified version as well, where you're just gonna lean into this and bring the knee in. You can speed that up, okay? Or slow it down. The further out you are, and I won't demonstrate that, but the further out you are, the more resistance, the more difficult the exercise is gonna become.
Wow.
So,
Corey, can you talk just briefly, being an RN, about the importance of individuals who have not seen a physician or a provider in years before they embark on a physical fitness routine? Overall, it's just important. We're seeing that a lot of folks aren't going to the doctor in some of the buildings we've been in, and we've been making physician appointments for them. Can you talk about the importance of seeing your provider on a regular basis as it relates to physical fitness?
Good question.
absolutely. Prevention is everything. So we know that in order to do that, we have to go to the doctor. We have to set appointments up at least yearly. Some of those checks and well checks are scheduled quarterly, so every 3 months, every 6 months. It's going to be up to your medical provider. But before you start any exercise program, you need to go to the doctor, be cleared by your doctor. And most doctors are going to want you to do some type of physical activity. And especially be, seen and monitored by a professional. So you want to make sure that you're cleared by the physician before you do those things. You may have anything underlying that you don't know about come in, blood pressure changes, stroke out, dizzy, different things like that. So safety is number one. And the doctor is gonna, do clearance just to make sure that you're able to tolerate that as well. Your trainer will most likely also run an assessment or do an evaluation on you as well.
Okay,
Right.
what if somebody wants you to be their trainer? How do they get in touch
How do they
with
get
you?
in contact with you?
Okay, misfitbooksy.com is how you book an assessment or group classes. Monday through Thursday, 6:45 p.m. are my classes. Otherwise, you can reach out to me, 317-584-6711.
I will add, this is a special deal for CAGI, that if anybody that's looking at this now, if you're involved in a group organization and you want Corey to come out, we will pay for her to come to your group to do this routine for at least 2 months. 2 months.
Wow.
So if you're watching us and you represent a group, especially from a geriatric standpoint, but it doesn't matter, we will pay for Misfits to come out.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you for coming out
Thank
to
you for
see
having
us
me.
today here
Thank
on
you for having
COVID-19
me.
recovery. Corey Johnson, again, nurse, Zumba instructor. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Here on COVID-19 recovery. And thank you for joining us. I'm Kelly Vaughn.
Mal Bracken.
Okay, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.